All right, let's try this again. Holy moly, what a insane journey that just was. That I thought I was streaming. I literally just did a full, no lie, full 35-minute stream and was wondering why my chat wasn't responding to any of my messages, not responding to anything. And I couldn't really figure it out. Today, we are here to answer your most pressing questions. Questions. Wow, guys, honestly, I'm shook because I just did the entire podcast, or I thought that I did, and I started talking about all kinds of things because really none of you were speaking to me. I couldn't understand. All right. So I know you guys have some questions for me. I am answering the interwebs' most pressing questions. Photographers, I know you're out there. What do you want to ask me? I know, Walt, you had a question. I saw earlier, Walt, that you had a question for me. Please take a second to formulate it and ask me. Everybody who's tuning in live, welcome. You know me. I am Carty, your friendly neighborhood photographer, here to answer questions for you, the emerging pro, about anything that you might want to know today. Thank you for sticking with me, those hardcore live crew. I don't know why this ended up going the way that it did, but it's that double button to go live thing that wasn't there, but suddenly was back. I'm here to answer all your questions. Ask me, ask me, ask me. Oh my God, that's a good one. How many Instagrams is too many Instagrams for one photographer? Wow. Well, it depends on what you're doing. If you have multiple things going on, like you, Vicky, I know you manage the behind the picture, which is like the photography streams account. So that's one. I know that you manage your own photography account. That's two. Do you have a separate account for weddings that's separate from your other photography? That might be three. It's okay if you have multiple photography accounts. The hardest thing is maintaining them, because really we can maintain like 2 social media accounts plus our website. Anytime that you think that you can do more, you find out quickly that oh my God, I haven't posted in a week. Oh my God, I haven't posted in 2 weeks. So, you know, it's something that you actually have to get yourself on a schedule so you have it going like really regularly. Vicky says that she's debating on making a separate one just for the astronaut, a wedding and a fun one. That's tricky, man, because now you're thinking about, that's just, you're tripling the amount of work for yourself, which, as it is, posting to social media is a lot of work and it gets tricky. I have my All Fixed Gear account, which I rarely post to. I have 17,000 followers. I have my personal account that I post to maybe once or twice a week. I have Behind the Picture that Vicky runs. I have a couple of other ones that I'm not active on. Really, it's how many accounts that you can be active on. I'm a fan of centralizing, and I would have one for your weddings and one for just your straight photography. But beyond that, I wouldn't do one just for your astronaut series. Again, it's too hard to start a new audience. You already have the audience built in that likes you and loves your photography. It's too hard to build a new audience, I think, personally. Calligraphy. When shooting in studio with no natural light, what would I recommend your lighting be for portraits? Well, it depends on how advanced that you want to go. My suggestion is to go simple. If you're in the studio and you're shooting with no natural light, This is your wall or your background. And this is your subject. I would have your subject roughly 4 feet off the background. And then your light, if you're shooting a female, I would light them relatively frontal, meaning somewhere in here. You're going to get beautiful butterfly lighting. It's going to look gorgeous. Once you start going sideways or around here for Rembrandt lighting, you're able to push the shadow off the background. If your frame ends here, the shadow pushes off and you don't see the background. So this position would be for a bit more drama. And this position would be more for beauty. It depends on the girl's skin. If she has great skin, then you can light her a little bit more dramatic and make something that feels a little bit more oomph. But I can show you examples of what that looks like, just to give you a sensibility so you can visualize it, because those are the only 2 places that I really ever put light in studio. Let's look here. So you can see that that Rembrandt lighting is here with this guy, but this is like a 3 light gelled multi-complicated setup. This is a perfect white with you can see there's 2 lights in the background hitting to make the background white, and then there's another light in the front that's giving me that Rembrandt kind of a feeling. Plus there's a bunch of flags and all kinds of other stuff in this photograph. But let me show you. This is Rembrandt for when you have a subject that can actually handle a little bit more dramatic light on their face. This is a great example. You can see the nose shadow here creates this triangle of light. This side of the face is lit. This side of the face isn't. But the fall off from the white is pushing in here and giving us a little bit of highlight. This is like super advanced, like 3 light setup. Let me find a little bit of a simpler 1 light. This is a 1 light. And when you're shooting a guy, it's easy to light this way. You can see the light that's on his face. I mean, it's a little bit more rugged because I wanted it to feel rugged with this particular face. Let me show you an example of front light. Front light. This is closer to front light. Just a 1 light, simple front light. You can see the catch lights in her eyes. You can see the placement of the light. You can see the lights diffused based on this soft shadow here. Also, because it's front light, it hollows out the cheeks. You can see the deep shadow under her chin. This is the light that I would start with if I was lighting in the studio for the first time. I would do a super simple front light. And just to show you what that looks like, give me 1 second, Xperia. Xperia. So just to show you what that looks like, if the camera, the tripod is here and the camera's here, and you're sitting here and looking through your camera, that's you, crouched over, the light should be up here. If your subject is here, also sitting on a stool, and the camera, like the light should be going above your camera, from above your camera down. You can't hit them flat on with light. It looks like a passport photo. You have to hit them top down, and then the background's here. and there's 4 feet of distance. And also because you're hitting down, the shadow also falls below them. So when you're looking dead on, the shadow is falling behind them and lower than their shoulders, so you don't see it. So that's how you do it. All right. Here's another question. When taking nature photos, what's the best rule for framing shots? You gave me some tips during the photo review, and I'm practicing. All right, let me give you, for nature shots, I mean, you have to think of the rule of thirds. Like if this is your frame, you can't be dropping whatever it is that you're taking pictures of, whether it's a flower, a bug, a bee, a bird. You can't be dropping it dead center. You have to be thinking about the frame in thirds. This is the most basic composition, is you think of the frame in thirds. And you try to put your subject on access points of the thirds, or in fact on axis points where, like here, or here you put your subject, or here. But when you're doing a composition and you're shooting horizontal, you also have to think about your frame as 2 pages in a magazine. And that's the reason that you can't drop your subject in the center. So how I think of the frame is I draw a line down the middle, and then I imagine what the center of this frame would be. And I try to drop my subject here, or I just try to drop my subject here when it comes to horizontal. And then vertical, when you're doing vertical compositions. Oops. When you're doing vertical compositions, think that it could be a Nat Geo cover. So think about the masthead. So just don't let your subject get too high into the top of the frame. Imagine there's like an invisible line. And also imagine that this is 8 inches and this is 12 inches. And a picture, once it goes into a magazine, is actually 9 by 12. So it's a little square. It's a little bit more square. 9 by 12 is typical magazine proportions. So because of that, you're going to lose a little bit on the top and bottom of your frame. So you have to also factor in the crop. So these are some things to think about when you're shooting horizontal or vertical nature, landscape kind of photos. Walt says, my main question is further back in the chat, but I have a second question. You're very generous. You've been a pro for 30 years. Does that mean I turned pro at like 7 or 8 years old? 7 or 10 years old. That's very funny. I am 53, by the way. I turned 53 in July. I turned 54 next July. And the July after that, I turned 55. So I'm older than I look. When I say I have been a pro for 30 years. I got my first studio when I was 21 years old. So that's when I classify becoming a pro. Before that, I had been published. Before that, I had shot models. Before that, I'd been paid. So I actually became a professional photographer even before I went to photography school. I got published and got paid to shoot models. So, yeah, I've been a working pro since I was 21, and I'm 53. You can see I have gray hair. You know, I still have my hair. You know, but yeah, I'm just a guy who doesn't dress my age. That's all. And then. Walt, your main question, I have to go back and search for. Let me go back and search for Walt. Walt is asking, I'm trying to shoot sports, dance, portraits, events, and concerts. Do I consolidate? Well, what you need to do is figure out your niche. What you need to do is figure out your niche. Shooting sport, dance, portraits is all people. Events and concerts is a whole different type of photography. Shooting events is not making pictures, that's taking pictures. So if you try to think of yourself as not someone who, anytime something happens, you're just there with your camera to take a photo of it, event photographers aren't valued at all. Anyone with a camera that's there, perfect. You can't do it? Cool. Bring in someone else. Like, there's no value to an event photographer because you're taking pictures. Making pictures, there's value in coming up with concepts and shooting amazing dance related photos. I showed some amazing dance photos. Sports, Bill Frakes. I mean, just if you want to, what I try to do, this is the best way to help you, Walt, is by inspiring you. So I'm going to inspire you. Look at the work of Bill Frakes. Now, when you look at Bill Frakes, what that will tell you is that you're able to shoot sports, shoot the type of work that you love to shoot, but also like tell stories. Bill Frakes is an absolute destroyer when it comes to how good he is as a photographer. But you have to look at the way that he shoots photos, the way that he's trying to tell stories. He's shot for Sports Illustrated for 20, 30 years. He is a sports photographer, shoots the NBA, shoots NHL, but he also is an editorial photographer. And that's the part that I want you to think about when it comes to your work, is how to editorialize, your photography. If you want to shoot sports, there's a way to editorialize them. There's a way to think about it as telling stories more than just shooting sports. How can you tell stories with dance photography? How can you tell stories with sports photography? How can you tell stories with your portraits? And how can you present it in a way that's cohesive and is all people related photography that all looks like you? That's what you have to be thinking about, I think, when it comes to your work. And if, again, you look at Bill Frakes and look at the way that this guy shoots sport, not just games, but he shoots in an editorial fashion. He shoots in a way that clearly he shoots for magazines. So Walt, that's what I'd like you to look at. So next question is from Jibo. How do new or restarting photographers create a portfolio that they're willing to share? This is a great question. It's a great question. The first thing that I would do is you need to find inspiration. And along with that inspiration, you need to find, my personal thing is like, it's like how you make a YouTube video. You make a YouTube video by first making the thumbnail and the title. Like, you first package it and then you make the video after you know that you have great packaging. For you, in this case, as a photographer and creating a new portfolio, first determine where the gaps are in the industry. Is there gaps in real estate photography? Is there gaps in actor headshots? Like, what industry within your town, city, region is really lacking. Like, that's the first thing that I would do before I reshoot a portfolio, is I would actually do market research to think, you know what? There's no amazing product photographers here. Everybody who shoots product photography in my region is getting it shot in New York. Or everybody who shoots or who's getting products done in my is shooting it in LA or in London or in Milan or whatever your closest region is. So researching the market and trying to find holes in the market for me is way smarter as a first step before you shoot the portfolio, because then you can shoot a completely targeted portfolio that's geared exactly towards a client base that exists already. And once you release yourself to that client base, you'll get work. It's kind of how you should do it. Doing it any other way, it's like, it's all ego based, where it's like, I want to shoot this. This is what I like to shoot. This is what I want to do. Me. And then you're putting your stuff out there and then you're crossing your arms when nobody hires you. It's like, nobody needs that work in your market. So do market research, find the stuff that aligns with the kind of stuff that you like to shoot. It could be industrial parts. And no, in shooting industrial parts isn't glamorous, but if you live in an industrial area, you could be making $10,000 a day photographing industrial machinery for manufacturers. That type of money that you make from that business, maybe it's portfolio work that gets you other industrial companies to shoot that work. A great business model. That money can fund all your equipment, and you can also now easily start another niche because you found a hole in your market. You filled that hole. You're making cake, and now like that business is a sole entity, and now you can just like, oh, and also I'm going to do the same thing for cars. I'm going to do the same thing for fashion products because you live in an area that lots of manufacturing happens. So my answer, market research. My brother Les Carty becoming a member again. Let's go, my brother. Let's go, Opal Customs. Say hi to my brother Les. He just uploaded a new video on YouTube. It's about 90 seconds, but it is amazing. Make sure you watch it. All right. So next question was, what was the best? Wait. I want to make sure I didn't. How I answered that one. Aspect ratio from Junebug. The best aspect ratio to practice with is the one that you have, full frame, like 8x12, because 9x12 is just a little bit of a cut because the image has to be wider. You know what I mean? So it's like practice shooting 8x12, practice shooting the frame, and just learn in your compositions how to shoot in such a way that a full length picture can be a full length picture. A headshot can be a headshot. Like, learn how to crop so pictures like this work out full length without you having to crop. Know that cropping at mid-thigh is a crop spot, which exists like when you have your arms at your side about this much further than where your arms stop, which is cut above the knees. Here's a secret. We don't crop across the shins. We don't crop across the shins. That's another thing that it's like, we don't cut feet off. We don't cut ankles. We don't cut across the ankles. If you're going to cut feet off, you cut mid-thigh. Like, that's where you cut if you're trying to cut feet off. So there's all kinds of like little things that you can learn about cropping, you know, but it's about how to shoot in such a way that when is full length, when is a close-up, you know, and what does a close-up feel like? Full length. when you shoot double page, how to offset, how to shoot a cover. Again, you see my offset composition, how to shoot with non-distracting backgrounds. There's a lot of things that I secretly teach you just by looking at my photographs. The way that I leave extra space up here because it's so easy to crop anywhere along here and have room for your cover. It's so easy. I make it so I'm super disciplined with my crop down here. I want my crop on the bottom to be exact, but I'll give lots of room on the top in order for you to make your cover. And in fact, you can even make this a square and it still works as a square photo. So there's trickies that you can do. This is a great example. This is the full frame. Like this is uncropped. So it's 8 inches across this way and it's 12 inches to the bottom. You can see how much headspace that I leave. For the cover, you can see how much foot space I leave on the bottom. Personally, I think this knife is a little too close to that edge, but you can see how centered he is in the frame. The distance of him here to here, the headspace, and also how I'm using these trees to frame him. And yes, the smoke that's going up and over him, blah, blah, blah. His outfit, all of that stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's all framing. The way that you see how the shawl goes around her and over her shoulder, her head angle, all of this stuff. It's all, yeah. What up, Black Cat? So what next? Andrew Basson just became a member. How did I miss that one, Andrew? Let's go, buddy. I miss you. Where you been? So what have I missed? Kadima. So Black Cat, I'm answering your most pressing photography questions for the next 15-ish minutes or so. Your most pressing questions. Kyle says that he had one up a bit. Sorry, Kyle, I missed that. Scrolling. Light ratios for studio portraits. Okay, so this is, first of all, something that you need to know. You have to have a light meter. You can't talk about light ratios without having a light meter and knowing how to get them. I'm going to explain light ratios with this shot that you're looking at right now. The exposure on my face here and the exposure on my face here, there is a difference of roughly 0.2 of a stop. Now, it's because of the white screen. Now, if I take this white screen away and put it on black, you'll see that my skin exposure is balanced across. Now, you see a highlight. Now, you don't. So that's what light ratios are, and how you achieve light ratios is with a light meter. Now, asking acceptable light ratios and all this stuff is like that. There are no rules for that. There is only understanding. This is something that I think is super important, Kyle, for you to grab. There's no rules. There's only understanding. So I'm going to help you understand light ratios using a few different photos. This photo, okay, the light meter reading is taken right here underneath his chin, aiming directly at camera, because that reading is going to give me the light that's falling on his face here on this side, the highlight side, because that's what I want to know. But the next thing that you need to know is, in order for me to do this light, it is a 3-stage process, because the background light ratio is 2 stops over what the foreground, what the main shot is. That's why it's a perfect white and why you can't tell the difference of where the frame ends and the white background of my website. So it starts with the background, a light here aiming at the wall. If this is the center, one light. Oh my God, I got to turn off this. Here, we're going to do this over. We're going to do this diagram in this program. So this is Light Ratio Talk by Steve Carty. Okay, this is the background. This is my subject. The distance of my subject off the background is 4 feet. Okay, I need 2 lights in order to light a perfect white. The first thing that I do, we're actually going to take this person out. The first thing that I do is find my center point. That's the first thing that I do, is find my center point between the 2 backgrounds. Then I have one light that I place here. That light is the same height, the same power, the same everything. So imagine the power is at 5. The height is 4 feet or however high the stand is. The angle, everything is exactly the same because I have to have mirrored lights. So one light is here. I have to get this angle right. 4 feet off the background. This light, I aim over in this direction on the opposite side of the center point. This one. I have another light over here that's exactly the same distance from the center point. So if this distance is 4.5 feet, oh my God, I'm horrible today. 4.5 feet, then the distance here is 4.5 feet to the center point. So everything is super mathematical. I'm going to hide my camera. Everything is super mathematical. And the light from, and by the way, the camera is like here. This light, I'm trying to have this hit over here on this side. Then I take light meter readings and get F22, F22, F22 on the background, on the background, on the background. Okay, so then I turn this light off and this light off. And I do the whole thing over again, only just with the front lights. My subject is in the same spot, and now I'm now positioning my front light. I have my rear lights off, and I light here. Now, if the background is F22, and I need this to be 2 stops, plus 2 stops over this, then 1 stop is F16, 2 stops is F11. That means that this light meter reading here has to be F11. So now I adjust the power of this light until this light meter reading is F11. Now I have F11 on this. Now I turn these lights back on and the whole system with this third light works, and I shoot here at F11. Now, if you're talking about ratios, the ratio of F11 to F22, well, that's like a 2 stops off. But the photo that I was showing you, this photo here, background back here is +2. Oops, +2 stops, and I'm going to turn this off. So back here is +2 stops on the white back here, and then here is F11. But over here, this highlight is F11.3, which is like 11 1/3 of a stop. So the ratio from here to these highlights is like 1/3 plus 1/3. And the reason that I know they're 1/3 is because his skin isn't disappearing. You see how you can still see his skin. So that part is something that's super difficult to, like, the ask is ratios. Well, this is normal, and then this is plus 1/3. So I don't know if if that explains it, but it's like the whole point of light ratios and where yours should be, anything over a third starts to blow out. So if you want your highlights to be white, make your highlights 2/3 of a stop or a full stop over, and your highlight will blow out and there'll be no detail there. So that to me is like a technical mistake, but you can't do those kinds of precise readings without actually having a light meter. So I hope you have a light meter. If you do, then yes, you absolutely can do this type of lighting where you see I have a blue gel coming in this way on this side, but that blue gel is plus a third. So it's not blowing out, it's not going white, and you see how it's just super, super delicate on his skin, but you still see the integrity of his skin. That's because it's at a third. Yeah, I hope that helps. And also, this is a white background when it's not lit. This is what white looks like when it's not lit. I only used one light for the front and one light aiming this way to create this blue, and no light was hitting the background. And because I'm lighting him from the side, the shadow doesn't hit the wall or the seamless, and white becomes gray. Yeah, I hope that helps, Kyle. I hope I answered your question. Again, it's so simple for me to explain it, but it might, like, when people ask, I have to actually make a video about light ratios and actually do a little bit of research to see like the easiest way to explain it. A light ratio is basically how bright is the highlight versus how bright is the shadow side, and how much difference in stops from the highlight side to the shadow side. That's one angle or a way to think about ratios, but trying to think about it mathematically for me just makes it more complicated. Trying to give it to you in such a way where it's a rule, that's also, there are no rules, but you do need to know that if you want something to read brighter in the frame, the exposure has to be brighter than normal. Whatever your normal exposure is, whatever you want to be a highlight has to be brighter. Anything any light that's coming in that is lower than normal won't show up at all. So if your rear light is coming in less than normal, like at f11, if your front here is f11 and you have a light in the background and you take a reading on the light and it's f8, that light won't show up, because the front light's going to overpower it. So that's why that's light ratios. Yeah, it's complicated, but it's something that everybody needs to understand. Oh my God. So what I love going over the process of mood boards for creative portraits. Yeah, that's a great question, Calligraphy. So this is the best way, I would say, to understand mood boards in general, and like, it's a place for inspiration. You create a bunch of like, okay, so I want my story to be in color and I'm shooting a black girl. So now you find references of, the question, by the way, was about mood boards and how to put together a mood board. First of all, be on Behance. That's the first thing. Let me just log in here. And then what you do is you go to Discover. This is how I create a mood board. Go to Discover, go Photography. And then from here, you can just skim and find stuff that is of reference. But if you want to go a little bit deep dive, and say you're shooting a black girl, you type black girl, portraits, fashion. And then it's going to search, and then I'm going to say creative fields, photography. And now it's going to give you inspiration on photographing a black girl. And you can see shots that like inspire. And you can be like, okay, this idea, I really like this idea. Let me just have a look through here and see what the best one that I think is. Not really into the super close-ups, but I think this first one is kind of dope. So up here, you say save, and it says add to mood board. So you say new mood board, and you name it, test. And then when you create it and save it to the mood board, it actually tells the creator you just added this photo to a mood board. So it's basically you're telling someone that you're using their work as inspiration. So you now go through and find all the photographs that are really relevant to that particular story. Any light that you want to do, we're actually going to just do that. So let me just save this to the test. And I'll save a couple more. This one, I really like this idea for light. So we're going to save this one in test. And then find a couple more. I like this horizontal. So we're going to save that in test. And then... oh my goodness, there's some presumed, that's the same thing. So let's go back. We'll go back here. Let's find another story for inspiration. This pose I really like with the hand over the mouth. So we're going to save that. See what else this photographer has. That one's okay. That pose with the big scarf, I'll say yes to this. That's a kind of a cute pose. I'll say yes to this. Okay, so now let's look at another photographer, another idea. There's not a lot of black skin. Oh, here we go. This is a great idea with black skin and lace. Beautiful. I love that. So now we're going to put this here. It's a great idea with the lace. So let's find the favorite photo. We'll put this one in here too. Save that. And then see if I can find another black girl. I'll say black girl portraits. Giving me a lot of non-black girls. Okay, so with one more here. I don't know if that's it though, as far as inspiration. Trying to zoom past the nudity. I don't want to get demonetized. All right, so now imagine you can go back. Anything that you want to save here, any idea that you think is super strong, you just save it here. And now, way that shows all your references, and you can also share this as a link so people can just look at it online. So that for me is a quick way to make a mood board based on like, I like this for pose. You can create one for poses, create another one for light, create another one for styling, the clothing, create another one for makeup. And you just continually add and build to these mood boards, and you share this with your creative team to make sure that they're mentally on the same headspace as far as the quality that you expect, because you're sharing stuff that is at like an exceptional level. By the way, it's another reason to have a Behance profile. There's nothing that feels better than someone saving your work to a mood board called photography inspiration or called amazing portraits or whatever, because they get a notification like Steve Carty saved your photograph to a mood board folder called test. So I hope that helps you, calligraphy. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, I was again just showing you. Yes, I missed one on the same row of the lace, but I'm just showing you how to create a mood board and just where to go for inspiration. Like going to Behance for inspiration, whatever it is that you shoot, whatever your genre, this is the place that you go to. Go to Discover, hit the Discover tab here. Even if you're not logged in, you can do this, or even if you don't have an account. And then just look at the best of photography. This is all award-winning photography, meaning the best creatives in the world decided that this was the best photography of the day. This is where I find a lot of my inspiration. And you can just see, like, the quality is ludicrous. This is where you look for inspiration. This is where you go to put your mood boards together. So, Jubo, if you guys have never posted to Behance, what are you doing? This is the place. This is like where you can share your stock photography. You can share straight to Adobe Stock right from Behance. And you can see the level of work that's here. Is it not Instagram? This is the real deal. Like people who are really, really trying to be pros. So yeah, this, forget Instagram. Behance. Behance is social media for creatives. The best creatives in the world are on Behance, and it's the first place that anybody looks when it comes to hiring a photographer. Before Google, they come to Behance. Because literally, it's also a search engine. You can just go into their search and type Toronto photographer. And you do a search, and you say creative fields, and you say photography, and then you see all the most recent posts from photographers in Toronto. And it's a really great way to see your level of work compared to what other people are doing. Here's Julie, who posts quite often, but you get to see what photographers in your own market are shooting and sharing. So I haven't posted in Behance in a while, so my stuff is way, way down. But you see there's lots of Julie. You have to scroll for quite a bit before you see, hey, there's me. Before you see my photos, because it's been a while since I've posted here. But you see lots of Julie's photography because she's a Toronto photographer. And when you search that, again, this is how people find photographers, by the way. I hope that helps. All right. So, yeah. What else? Ask me something else. Yes, we all need to get better at posting to Behance, all of us. I'm going to do another 5 minutes answering your questions. I hope this has been helpful today. By the way, everybody who was waiting for me to start and just in chat being like, where's Carty? I apologize. Like, again, long story, but I thought I was live. Walt has one. Hit me up, Walt. Hit me up. Up above. You're fresh You're fresh into your photo business. You got an LLC, started a website. You're pushing it on your socials. So many things to do and know. Where do you go from here? What's next? You feel like you're drowning. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you, and this is the last thing that I'm going to talk about, which is this is what I do in my mentorship program. many pro photographers don't know what they should be doing when they're not actually taking photos. Many pros don't know what they should be doing when they're not shooting photos. So I'm just going to quickly break down when I mentor somebody or when I'm trying to help a pro get, like, they're making money, some money here, but they're not working. I'm going to explain to you what I do and how I run my business. I'll explain it very simply. It starts first with the work. It starts first with the work. And that work has to do with your niche or specialty, the quality of the work. And it goes way beyond Instagram. It goes way beyond Instagram. And if your work hasn't been looked at by an art director, a photo editor, another working pro that's at a more advanced level than you are, then this is one of those things where you don't know what you don't know, because you think that the work is ready, but the work might not quite be at the level of quality in order to be demanding money. And if you're pushing that work on one place and one place only, which is social media, you're not going to get traction. People who are on social media aren't in the business of hiring. So Behance is where you put work. If you're trying to make work that gets work, you put it on Behance, as well as having a website. Like, this first part, many photographers do not ever leave this vibe. They just stay here, they make work, they post it to Insta. They get no traction, they make more work, they post it to Insta. They're not niching, they have no specialty, and the quality is questionable. Once you look at Behance, here's an idea. Look at Behance. If you feel like Behance, you look at the photography there and you're like, holy shit, the photography on Behance makes you feel like that, it means you have further to go with your own quality to make it match industry standard. If you look at Behance and is like, oh my God, my work should be on Behance right now, then it means that your work is likely at industry standard already. It's just being shared in the wrong places. So that's where I start first, is with the work. That's the first headspace, the first place where many people don't ever get out of that headspace. The second thing that I focus on is the packaging. This is your portfolio, your website, your Behance profile, your logo, your, like, everything about what your business looks like from the outside looking in, from the perspective of a stranger looking at your business. That's packaging. And many photographers fail miserably here. Their packaging is horrible. Their portfolio, oh my God, their website, like their use of space, their understanding of design sensibility, font choices. Like, most people don't understand packaging. They understand photography, but the packaging is a whole other thing, which is, once the work is up to snuff, packaging it in a professional way that looks expensive is also part of it. And you notice I say you as part of my packaging. The you part is a huge part that many photographers don't focus enough time on, the you part of their business. Self-improvement, health. If you don't have the health, if you don't have energy, how can you grind at the level that is needed to be an actual working pro? If you don't exercise, if you don't eat well, if you're literally sedentary, but dreaming of a life of being a high fashion photographer, like, you need to get your body ready for the intensity that is a professional photography career. Notice that I'm kind of a slim guy. Look at all the energy that I have. You know, like, I'm 53 and I maneuver like I'm 25. I ride fixed gear bikes with no brakes. I skate. I do all kinds of stuff because if you don't use it, you lose it. And people look at me, they're like, you're 53? I'm like, yeah, but I don't know it in my head. So because I don't act like I'm 53, my body doesn't know that I'm 53 because I'm riding bikes and doing skids and like doing crazy shit every week. Stuff that a guy who's my age should definitely not be doing. But I do it anyways because use it or lose it. You only get one body, and guess what? Your body is a 100% reflection on what you do with your life. Our body, from the second that we're born, is a reflection of what we do. I'm an active person. It reflects in my body. I smile a lot. So look at my wrinkles from smiling. I have wrinkles from smiling because I smile so much. Our body is an exact reflection of what we do. So, yes or yes? If you want to be a photographer, your health and you as a package, you also have to be presentable to the client. If you're a mess and your shirt's all untucked and your hair is all blah, blah, like, you're not presentable to the client. How can you go to the wedding if like, and I'm not getting hired to do wedding photography. It's like, because your packaging isn't right. You swear too much. You're not refined with your language. Like, you don't act professional. You don't dress. And I'm not saying you don't see me in a suit and tie, but I own my style, personal style. I'm a photographer. People trust me with their image. So they look at me and they trust me because they see that I'm secure in my own personal style, so I can help them. So packaging is the next thing that I deep dive on with photographers. And why do you think I have like a fitness fun channel in the Discord? Why do I have fitness fun? Because it's to just show you like, hey, by the way, that's one of the things. And you notice, hey, here's me doing hill sprints, and here's me riding 50 kilometers on a fixed gear bike. And here's me like in the winter riding all year round. And I post that, and I have that folder to encourage you to pay attention to your health, because we only get one chance to do this. We only get one chance to make a first impression. If you don't care about yourself, how and why would anybody care about any of your photographs? Care about yourself, and suddenly you care about everything, you know, in a certain way. So that's the next thing that I touch on. And this is specifically for you. The one that said, I'm stuck, Mr. Walt. The one that said, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm explaining to you like how I help photographers in my mentorship program. Vicky has gone through it. Right now, there's so many people who are in it. Tony is in it. Here's the next thing that I help with, which is outward reach. Outward reach is not posting to Instagram. Outward reach is not posting to Instagram. Outward reach is actively selling. Active sell. We passively sell back here with the packaging. with our portfolio, with our website, with our Behance profile. We're passively selling every day. The post that you make to Instagram is passively selling, but actively selling is finding people who could hire you. You shoot products. Oh my God, you found a perfume manufacturer that churns out, that manufactures all these products, and like they have shitty product photography. Oh my God, you've found a gap in the market that you can fill simply by reaching out to them and making them an irresistible offer. How much are you paying for headshots? Or how much are you paying for product shots? And they tell you, we pay $100 a product. And you're like, holy shit, $100 a product, really? And you know your photography is horrible, right? And they're like, really? And you're like, yeah, look at mine. And then they look at yours and they're like, holy crap, you're amazing. And say, you know what? What if I matched the $100 per product that you're paying right now and gave you that with better service and a faster turnaround time and a better quality product? Would you switch from the person that you're using at the same rate? They'd be like, hell yeah. And they're like, okay, good. Next week, we have 100 products for you. 100 products at $100 a product. That's $10,000. So actively selling, but what we do is we put our stuff on a website, we put it on Instagram, we go like this. Nobody's calling me. Nobody knows who you are. What are you talking about? How big is your ego that you think that you're a goddamn household name just because you have photos on the internet that everybody's going to know you, find you, hire you instantly? Oh my God. It took me years to realize all you need to do is actively sell. Target a person that needs you and then just stand in front of them and be like, hey, and then make an offer that they can't refuse. And you'll find, oh my God, you work all the time because you show up as a solution for a problem that they already know that they have. They know that they have a problem with photography, and you show up as the solution to that problem. That's actively selling. But the problem is that most people then go in under budget. They go in radically under. I'll do it for $50 because they're excited about the opportunity. Even if that photo that you're making, that set of photos is going to make that company $50,000, you come in like, I'll do it for $100 because you're happy for the opportunity. When really, they have a budget allocated to pay for this type of advertising, this type of marketing. And if they're going to make 50, they're going to spend 20% on that to get that 50. So they're going to spend $10,000 on it, 10K. They're going to have usage fees and all this stuff. But again, running a business. This is what I try to teach people how to do. It's tricky. This is the next thing that I get into that not enough photographers do, which is have systems. I have systems for everything. I have systems for photo shoots. I have systems for pricing. I have systems for marketing. I have systems for post-production. I have systems for everything. Once you have systems, you can teach systems. Let me show you a system. I have headshots, and I do headshots. I do headshots for all kinds of people. I have basic, deluxe, and premium. Okay? So imagine for the basic package, it's one look. You get 2 finals, and I charge $350. For the deluxe package, it's $500. It's 2 looks. You get 5 finals. Or for the premium package, it's $750. It's 3 looks. You get 10 finals. Now, I want you to see how much I spend. I spend 30 minutes for the first one, 30 minutes for the $350, 60 minutes for the $500, and 90 minutes for the premium. And note what you get with each package. You get 2 finals, 5 finals, or 10 finals. And additional finals are $50 each. So someone who orders the basic package, who gets 2 finals, I shoot 100 pictures. They're going to want 20 finals. So they always order more than 2. So a person who pays me $350 ends up paying me $450 because they want more than those 2 finals, because the finals are $50 per extra retouched picture. Now, imagine the person who wants the deluxe package, they get 2 looks and 5 finals. It's so easy to upsell from the basic to the deluxe because you explain, I sell my finals for $50 each. I'm giving you 5 finals for the $500, which means you're getting me for $250 and you're just paying me now for those finals. And it's actually cheaper to do this way than do it the basic way. Then you say, hey, guess what? For $750, I'll give you 10 finals. 10 finals? That's $500 in finals. And it's only, you're basically paying me $250 to shoot you, and you're getting 10 pictures bundled in at the end. So this is a system for charging. You can take this system exactly and use it exactly. Have a 3-tiered pricing, but each one of these offers is an irresistible offer. And the most expensive one, which is $750, I do in 90 minutes. And also the cost of finals for you, the photographer, is just your time. Just your time, so it's free. So give more finals, which is more value, and charge more for it. This is a system for pricing. And there's other ones for when you're shooting magazines and shooting advertising and all that stuff. But this system is just one way that you can make money. Like, honestly. And then the next thing that I talk about is the business of photography. Like, and how to create an irresistible offer. Like, I literally just gave you an irresistible offer. It's so easy to create an irresistible offer. So easy. But the thing is that you have to value your own photography. If you don't value your own photography, it's impossible to create an irresistible offer, because people don't even understand, like, you don't even understand how much your shit's worth. When you don't know what your photography is worth, like, this is why I have a minimal look-through fee. Like, hey, you want me to shoot you? Do you have $300? $350? It's like, for what? It's like, for me to pick up my camera, because that's how much it costs. I mean, I'm not so cold, but I showed you, like, my fee for me to shoot for 30 minutes. That's the cheapest that you're going to get, is $350. But for $350, what they get is a gallery of watermarked images. This is another system that you have to understand. Watermarked images that are unusable, that say photo by Steve Carty, not to be used, proofs only, all over it, just for seeing them. They get a watermarked gallery, and they get 2 finals. Without the watermark, high res, retouched, perfect, ready for print. That's what they get. So if they want the gallery, hey, can I get all the photos? You hear that all the time. Can I get all the photos? Here's another system. Sure, I will process all the photos, not retouched, but process, fix the color, fix the exposure on the entire 100 photos that I've shot for the low price of $200. I'll give you all of them low res as JPEGs, unwatermarked, for you to use for social media. They're unprintable, they're unretouched, but they're usable for $200. I'll give you a one price to be able to use all of them. Guess what? You'll never use all of them. And I remind you, you'll never use all of them. But if you want to pay for access to all of them unwatermarked, I'll now sell you an unwatermarked gallery. You don't just say, okay, here you go. Or you don't just say, here's my raw files. Or here you go. Like, everything that every time you squeeze the shutter, that's a commodity. That's something that we can sell back. Oh my God, you're offering you're offering JPEGs for $1 a photo. So again, you're racing to the bottom, Walt. Literally, you're racing to the bottom. Like, your pricing, this is where photographers fail. Creative people are nice, but we fail in the pricing. We fail in the pricing. It's like, I'll give you JPEGs for $1 a picture. It's like, okay, don't frame it that way. Don't frame it that way. Say, I'll give you the whole set for $200. Okay, but it's 200, there's 200 pictures. What you're doing is saying my pictures are worth $1 each. Don't frame it that way. Frame it, I'll give you the whole set for $200. Therefore, it doesn't mean like, oh, if there's 89, you get $89, or if there's 101, you get $101. It's like, I don't know, like each single image that you're giving, it has value. And too many photographers just give away processed pictures for free. And it's like, that's why you don't have any, like, that's why you don't make money. That's why you don't make money. It's why you're operating at a loss. It's because you haven't figured out how to operate at a profit, because your money-making systems they're not working. And never give raw files. Kadima, never, ever give away raw files. I'm going to say it a third time just to make sure it sticks. Never give away raw files, ever. Like, to just give away raw files if, like, Apple calls you and they're like, hey, we want you to do this project of photography for our new, like, screens. They ask for the raw file, you give them anything that they ask for. A client, a company, they need the raw file in order to process it, in order to do, sometimes people have their own in-house retouching. Cool. But an individual that you photographed for that's like, give me the raw files, is the answer. You don't get the raw files. It's like the same as me shooting Hasselblad and you saying, give me your negatives. It's like, no, because you're giving up your copyright. You're giving up ownership and you're giving up control. Never give raw files away. Your clients don't need them. They don't know what to do with them. They don't have the software to process them. And if they do, all they're doing is fucking them up. They're just fucking up your work. And like, yeah, again, no. Again, this is why I do this show, because I feel like there's so many mistakes that I see emerging pros do. Like, oh, I always give away my raw files. It's like, wow, okay, we'll see if you're in business still in 12 months. Anyways, yeah, it's like, and also not knowing what you're selling. You're selling your services. You're also selling all your equipment. Like, that's part of the service. So you have to bank that into your fees. You're selling all the knowledge that you've learned to get to the point to be able to operate the camera, your talent, your time in post-production. So, yeah, don't give up your raw files. Yeah, the other thing is operating your business like a business. That's something that I think a lot of people fail at. They don't know how to run a business. They've never run a business. They just want to be a photographer, and then they become a photographer, and then the money side of it, the business model, how they make money, how to charge, how much to bill, how to find clients, all that stuff is just no idea. They find out all of that shit as they're going or as they're failing. They start to realize what they don't know. And again, it's like I'm in the middle of making these videos, but you can't imagine the scope of what you don't know. You can't imagine. None of us can imagine the scope of the things that we don't know. But admitting that you know nothing about the business of photography is the beginning of understanding. As soon as you say, like, I'm new, I don't know anything, then now you're an open vessel. Now you're open to actually learning. But claiming to I got this, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. Like that whole business. Okay, cool. You got it. Be gone with you. Have a good time. Good luck. You find that most of those people are like, they don't know what to do. And during the day on a 9 to 5, they're watching YouTube. They don't have a clue what they should be doing with their time. They don't know how to actively sell. They don't know how to reach out. And they haven't developed the people skills needed because they haven't spent any time working on them to actually cold reach out to people effectively. So yeah, there's so many aspects of this photography business. And by the way, taking photos is like this much of it. Like literally. You want to be a pro photographer? Amazing. Photography is this much of it. The other side of it is business. The other side of it is understanding the craft and how to like be at the highest level. But you see how, like, I don't make photographs a lot. First of all, I get paid a lot of money to look through my camera. A lot. It's crazy. I love it, but it's crazy. Yes. So because I did a job 3 months ago or 2.5 months ago, like I don't really have to work for like half a year. So like that's the kind of photography jobs that I do. It's not like I'm not working for half a year, but it's just, yeah. You just, yeah, it's hard to explain, but I hope that helps you. Usage fees and all that stuff. I did the biggest job of my career in August. The biggest invoice of my life was in August. Crazy. And again, they just keep going up. You just keep getting better and you just keep realizing how to bill and how to, how to manage client expectations and how to supersede them and make it so you keep getting called back. But Walt, I did a job in August for $49,400. Just to give you a scope of the way that I charge. $49,400. So a job like that took me 4 days of shooting. That's how you have to be thinking about pricing. That's how you have to be thinking about the kind of clients that you're looking for. Those clients are there. I sent an invoice. I sent a quote. That quote was $53,000. Did I get $53,000? No, I got $49,000. So, you know, yeah. So, yeah. And you're saying that that's what you get paid a year for working 40 hours a week. Again, it's you're in the wrong business. You're in the wrong business. And for me, I have kids. My kids have a house and I'm not with my ex, so I live super humbly. And like I don't flaunt the like anything like my success or anything like that. I just like I live super humble. I live super modest, and because of that, it's like I don't know, I have like such a enriching life, and I'm able to do this. Like, I mean, the amount of money that I make on YouTube compared to my professional photography business is at this point, peanuts. It's nothing. You know what I mean? Like what I make on YouTube in a month, I make in 90 minutes with my camera. So, you know what I mean? YouTube, honestly, I'm doing this for you. I'm doing it for you. So, yeah, until my ship blows up to the point where I have 100,000 subscribers, I have 100,000 people listening to me talk about professional photography. When I get to that point, then maybe the money that I make on YouTube could surpass the money that I make with my camera. But understand I've been doing this for 3 decades and I have a reputation. I'm a sought after photographer. So because of that, and that's from a lifetime of over delivering. That's from 30 years of over delivering and having a reputation and all that stuff. I have the work to back it up. So yeah. So understand that this whole thing is about growth. It never stops. It's never over. And you have to just, I don't know. I have a couple of slots on my mentorship program. I try to keep it at like 8. because it does interfere with my work when I have more than 8 people. And when I hit 8, I just turn off the button. Right now, I think I have 6. So I can take maybe 2 people. But yeah, I help people with their business walls, because I can find your mistakes, and just here listening to you and the way that you're struggling and the way that you don't know where to turn and that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, that's what I do. I try to help people that way, because I learned the hard way. I honestly, I learned the hard way. I learned through failure. I learned through saving a failing business so many times. Like, so many times I've almost like had to give up this shit. So, you know, once every 10 years, you have one of those like, I just got to the point where I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna be smarter. And I started taking courses, and I have mentors, I have business coaches. So in 2013, like 10 years ago ish, I started with my business coaches, and these guys, like these guys are why I'm in the situation that I'm in now. This is what, like, these guys that made the Carty brand book, they made me this book, which is the Carty book. And the Carty book is basically 200 pages about how to be the best Carty possible, right here. And I flag stuff, because in case I forget, I go back to here, because it reminds me about my core. Like, I worked with them for 2 years. And after that 2 years, I signed a 2-year $50,000 deal with Canon Canada. I was Canon's first brand ambassador. I was signed before Peter McKinnon. I was Canon's brand ambassador. I was Canon's brand ambassador before they had Instagram. Before they had social media. And yeah, so that's just a little bit of Cole's notes for those who don't know me. And again, it's like, you guys can research me. You can dive a little bit deeper into my YouTube channel if you feel like you want to find a little bit more out about me. Like, you can, here, what would be a crazy one to show you? How about, here, I'm going to show you a couple things before we go today. How about okay, how ignore the quality, because the quality is like really bad, but I just love hearing Cheryl Hickey say my name. Here, watch this.
Carty has traveled the world photographing everybody from Kanye to Tony Bennett. Now, last night we caught up with him in his Toronto studio to watch the celeb snapper at work.
I'm a photographer, and I get to hang out with some cool people and make great pictures, and I love it.
Toronto-born shutterbug Carty has shot some of the world's biggest stars.
Sandra Oh, Tom York from Radiohead, Kanye West, Pharrell,
this was in 2010.
Cardinal Offishall.
And now the celebrity photographer is lending his lens to a Studio 54 inspired shoot in support of the Rethink Breast Cancer campaign.
Models, go. 1, 2, go, 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 go. I'm about to shoot the Red Seas parting and 3 amazing featured models walking down like it's a runway show. Going to be flashes popping, paparazzi there filming them.
Carty's been snapping since he was 14, but it was when hip-hop music moved into the mainstream that his career really took off.
At the time when hip-hop was really becoming popular, I was right there at the forefront shooting for street-level magazines and getting access to people like Fat Joe.
Since then, he's been busy shooting Hollywood heavyweights, but it's a job that fell through with a fellow Canadian that Carty's still kicking himself over.
I got booked to shoot Evangeline Lilly. I was like backflipping, like trying not to be so excited, but she wanted to spend time with her mom and she didn't want to shoot, so we didn't do it. It didn't happen. I just kind of roll with it. Lucky that way.
Luckily, the stars are aligned for Carty these days. He continues to make his mark, doing the job he loves.
Now we got a picture happening. I'm lucky that I have eyes to see, and the fact that photography is something that I can carve out as a career. I'm a lucky guy.
So, that's, whoa, stop. That is, a ET Canada spot where I am basically talking about, my career as a professional photographer. Been doing this for a minute. And again, when I say I was sponsored by Canon before Peter McKinnon, I'm not lying. Honest. I'm not lying. I'm not lying.
Thank you very much.
The word that describes my mom best is happy. I think you're awesome. She makes food for me, and sometimes
This is a
I
commercial
make
that I did
like my
for
mom
Canon.
to the moon and back. I love my mom this much.
Who wants to make an amazing present for their mom?
Me.
I take pictures for my job, but I'm not taking the pictures today. You guys are gonna take pictures of each other. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Wow, eh? You guys tell me, how big should we print these pictures? Come on, guys, let's go away. Underneath inside there.
I've seen something.
Letting you through this fifth wall, I photographed all of these kids while this was happening. I was shooting them all using a Canon 6D and a 100 millimeter macro. I secretly shot so the photos of the reveal, although the kids were taking pictures of each other with an 85, with a 50. Some of them had kit lenses. I said, everybody has to have a 50. They didn't have enough 50s. So we used 2 kit lenses. The rest had 50s, a couple had 85s, and they were shooting amazing pictures, but they were going like it was insane. So I shot these photos that you're about to see, but the kids and the moms were convinced that the kids shot the photos, and this is a real reaction. We sequestered the moms. The moms actually didn't know what was happening. So this is real.
Down.
You think your mommy's gonna like this picture?
Yeah, me. Sure.
I hope you can tell this is my photography.
That's you.
Just about done, Abby. Look at that.
You look good. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on.
That was back when Canon decided that pushing printers was more important than pushing photography. They just pushed printers and cameras. Like, it wasn't pushing photography and pushing moments. Like, so bringing, like, that was the beginning of the things that I was trying to do with that brand, is like, no, push these like moments. And that was real, like everything that you saw there. And it's like, you can see, by the way, the last thing that I'm going to say before I end off today is, you notice my teeth? My teeth, it was also part of my packaging. And I'm not going to show you back my teeth. The fact that I showed that is also, it really, it makes a point. And it makes the point just about packaging. I've had bad teeth like my whole life. I always had bad teeth. I come from like a family of like bad teeth. And I had broken, cracked, crooked, and I had to deal with it. It was making it so I was embarrassed to go out. I was embarrassed to like smile. I was embarrassed to like, it was making it so it was hurting my quality of life. So in 2014, I had my teeth fixed. So when I had my teeth fixed, now suddenly I smile constantly, and I have the confidence to be on camera. I have the confidence to have a YouTube channel. I have the confidence to actually do what I'm doing, which is being a host, being a presenter, and being in front of strangers, because I'm happy now, because I like the way that I looked. And the thing that I didn't like about myself before, which was my teeth, I fixed it. So it's all part of the packaging. And know that it's why that you like looking at me. It's because I have this Hollywood smile that I paid all this money for. So all part of the packaging. We all come from somewhere. I hope today's episode inspired, which is all I'm here to do. Consider becoming a member so you too can participate in these live chats. If you like these Q&A sessions, I'll do another one. Even if this one failed, the first 40-minute stream that I did to nobody, I streamed to nobody. I wasn't even live. Guys, I love you. Thank you so much for watching. This commercial-free stream was brought to you by the members of this channel, as well as Carty Crew merch. I didn't play my commercial spot, but you can check the video description to check how you can buy a cap, a beanie, a hoodie, track pants, crew necks, t-shirts. There's all kinds of stuff there for photographers, so you can look slick like me. Guys, I love you. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, please consider becoming a member. Jump in the Discord, because that's where everybody goes now. And I will see you guys on Thursday. We're going to start looking at your green peppers. If you don't know about the green pepper thing, watch Sunday's episode. Shoot some green peppers. I'll see you on Thursday. Thanks for watching. The lost episode. The lost episode that wasn't even recorded. I started my channel in 2007. You can go way back and watch all kinds of old content if you like. If you like my new stuff, we got videos coming. I have 2 videos. I shot them back to back. I am in an editing nightmare right now. I am still trying to find my editor solution. If you became a member recently, you're going to see your name scrolling across the top. As mentioned earlier, this commercial-free stream was brought to you by our channel members. And also, if you became a subscriber recently and you made it to the end of this episode, you'll see it right here. Today, I want to know if you are shooting with Viewfinder or the LCD screen. Fess up. I want to know if you're shooting Viewfinder or LCD screen. If you're shooting LCD screen, I'm going to be mad at you because this is a pro camera, not an iPhone. I want to know, though, leave a comment that tells me that you made it to the end of this episode, whether you are part of the replay gang or one of my live viewers. I want to hear how you shoot, and if you shoot with both, I want to know the reason why You shoot one and the reason why you shoot the other. Viewfinder gang or LCD screen gang? I want to hear from you. Leave comments. Make sure you hit the like button, make clips, share to your social media networks. I love you guys.